What's up, everybody, and welcome back to AGX Comics. Man, it feels like it's been a while since I jumped into one of these reading reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Dawn of DC's Night Terrors number 4. This is the ending of the 1 through 4. We still have an Omega coming up. That's actually coming out this week is the time I'm recording this video. But nonetheless, I wanted to jump into this one, so this is like kind of like getting close to wrapping up the series. So if you're not familiar with what the series is basically I read the comic for you, kind of give you a little bit of a synopsis throughout the story, provide you some of the pictures, and then after that, I kind of give you a little review about the book, at least of what I thought of it. And if you're like, oh man, you're already on number 4 and I want to catch up, well, don't worry because I do have a playlist. And actually, I don't just do Night Terrors, I do ongoing series such as the Amazing Spider Man series, such as you name it, right? Just go and click on the channel and do me a favor. If you're obviously in the video that long, do me a huge favor and go and subscribe. And then tell me what you thought about this comic. So without further ado, let's jump into the story. So as we jump into the story, it's been these little beginning vignettes of dead man near a fire or dead man in his like trapeze act, and basically gives us a like, oh, you were expecting a happy ending, like but not all endings end happily, right? And then he leaves it off as there's only survivors, right? And this is Night Terrors, Nightmare Fuel. And we leave off with Damien, Sandman, and um Deadman possessing Batman's body. Now at this point, Deadman has the possession of the Nightmare Stone, but basically the only way that they're thinking of defeating Insomnia, our villain, is by going into Arkham Tower where his actual physical being is still present. So they have to go through this, and this Arkham, it just looks haunted, right? It's like the most haunted place on Earth because this is where it's been housing Insomnia this whole time. Slowly, as they walk up the steps, we see Damien behind Boston, right? And Deadman, starts turning around looking at Damien and says, Son, I want you to know that I'm very proud of you. Damien says, Boston, it's me, Damien. Deadman left my body to go ahead. He's gone on to battle Insomnia by himself. Basically, at this point, we see that Batman is quote unquote back to being Bruce. However, Damien does not fall for that trap and stabs Batman right through his body, and AKA this is just a nightmare. So it's kind of crazy as Sandman wakes him up, says, "Hey, you were falling asleep as we were walking up these stairs." Basically, what's going on in like this whole scenario, right, as you're gonna see play out here, is that as Deadman, as Damien and Sandman go up the tower, slowly they have to fight off the urge of falling asleep and dealing with their nightmares that are playing around them. Next up, we see a figure go to Boston this time, aka Deadman, in Batman's body. And I'm not familiar with the character's name, but it's obviously you could tell that it's one of the characters that Boston is probably like his muse, right? His girl. And in this, right, she's like, "Oh, I miss you. I missed you so much." And Boston's like, "Nice try, Insomnia. I know this is, BS." So, and she says, "I'm scared, Boston, baby. Why is what Insomnia wants so bad?" So basically, he's trying to play the tricks on them, and obviously, it's just not working, especially with Deadman possessing the Nightmare Stone at that time. He just goes through the door anyway and says, basically, screw it. And in we see Insomnia's living body. And actually, it's kind of weird that there have all these like spiders, tarantulas, snakes crawling all over his sleeping body. And it's crazy because he's like sleeping in a straitjacket. And finally, we're going to figure out the complete origin story of Insomnia here, which Deadman leaves Batman's body, and we see him kind of go into this realm and dive into Insomnia's dreams, right? And in this time, we're not in his nightmares; we're just in like his past here. And the past, Deadman says the past, your past, Gotham. Basically, it's Gotham, and we see a family, right? A mom, 3 kids, and Insomnia himself wearing a Justice League T-shirt, and they all wearing kind of like, one of the kids got a Flash T-shirt on, and the kids are excited to see him, and all of a sudden, We see the building or their apartment that they're in fall down and absolutely just kill his whole family, right? And the whole time it's the actual Justice League fighting someone. So in the aftermath of the Justice League at this time fighting a huge villain, um, the collateral damage of the apartment building gets hit and it kills his family in front of him, and he can't use, his wife's hand is sticking out. He goes to reach for it and he can't because she's already dead. Finally, we get the confrontation. We get pulled back. I mean, we're still in Insomnia's head at this point, right? But the Insomnia character that we know at this point, being the cracked out eyes, and whenever it says like "you fell for my trap, Boston, you fool, you fell for my trap," and basically the trap is that Deadman was going to bring him the Nightmare Stone this whole time, and he was just waiting for Deadman to figure it out. Which is a little deceiving because obviously, why would he jump into the other two? Right? And as this happens, Boston thought it would like kind of dethrone him and kill him for good. What happened is it like made him internal and gave him this ultimate power. So the kind of big twist here at the end is that the day's not over because Insomnia is more powerful than ever now due to Deadman's, flaw of bringing him the stone. And then we cut back to the vignette and see Boston Brand throwing the comic book into the fire, and basically we just see everything. All the rest of the DC universe is waking up, right, from their nightmares, to look out and literally see all of their nightmares have now became alive in the real world. So everyone now in the universe is awake, right? Essentially, they're all awake, and all their nightmares from all the tie-in books are alive. So we see Gunbat, or whatever. I don't know if there's an actual name to the character yet, but I like to call him Gunbat because he's literally a bat. This bat demon with a gun. We see Superman and Wonder Man's demon, or Wonder Woman's demon, and basically, these foes are now alive in the real world. So with that being said, this is the portion that I do a review on. And let me tell you, this has so far been the best book of them all. I mean, I love the origin story, even though let me rephrase that. I don't love the origin story, but I definitely don't think it's the worst one I've ever heard. I could see why it's, this. I know they're not making him bad in the sense of just being bad. They kind of like gave him that flaw of like, oh, this is why, right? Like, would you want your family to be crushed by quote unquote good guys? However, though, I love the twist of, the universe waking up and their nightmares are the reality. So it's like you're gonna have this colossal event happen, and I can't wait. And if you haven't, so and you've stuck around this long, please do me a solid and go like the video and subscribe for more, because I will be covering the Omega final issue of this awesome event that is the Dawn of DC Night Terrors. Um, Again, I thought it was a pretty good book. But until next time, thank you guys for watching.